Alright, my name's Liam. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to challenge myself to make a deep analogy using decaf coffee. See how this goes. So I really wanted to make this video to show you that you can literally make a video about anything if you go deep enough and zoom into the topic enough. And so I kind of thought through it a bit, but really what it's about is living life stim-free. Now, the problem with stimulants, which you can directly define as caffeine. Caffeine's obviously a stimulant, but what else is a stimulant? A stimulant is anything that takes you through a cycle of high and low. Most commonly, alcohol. Now, the problem with alcohol is, yes, it's a high and a low. You get high, not literally, but it takes you through an emotional high where you enjoy the experience, and then there's an equal opposite. So there's an equal low, which is your hangover and perhaps the things you may regret from the night before. So anything that stimulates you and has a high also inevitably has a low as well, which is the core issue with them. Now, if you were to ask most young people what they look forward to most, let's take the college age group as an example. Most likely, kids in college are looking forward to the party on Friday night. They will go through their entire week, enjoy moments here and there, but in the end, they get a huge buildup of energy when it comes closer and closer to Friday night. And why is that? Well, because there's a stimulant involved. So when they go to that party, they get drunk, they have a lot of fun, and then there's inevitably a low. But the problem with exposing yourself to stimulants and using things like alcohol, drugs to achieve an external state of happiness, the issue with that is it exposes you to the loss and the misery of its absence. So that means that now, whenever you don't have that stimulant, you're not as happy because you know what it's like to have it. Now, funny enough, the state that you're chasing by drinking alcohol or doing drugs is actually a state of peace. You're looking for a state of presence. But that chase in of itself removes any possibility of presence because you get stuck in this cycle of high and low, high and low, high and low. Peace is more so a state of neutrality, and not in a boring, mundane way. It's a beautiful neutrality where you're completely okay with right now. You don't need anything else. Happiness is more or less a sense that nothing is missing. And when you require stimulant, for the sake of this analogy, because we are talking about decaf coffee, when you require a stimulant, you are therefore defining your default state of being as inadequate. And so that means that every time you are not drunk, you're not high, you're in a at least small form of misery because you've exposed yourself to the loss of its absence. And really what we want is we want peace from mind. We don't want peace of mind. We actually want to escape our mind. As long as we have thought, we're not at peace. Every time you walk down the road, you have this little voice in your head that narrates the world around you. Why does that happen? Because it makes you feel safe. It makes you feel like you have control. If you look at that car and be like, oh, it's a Mustang. My grandpa used to have one of those. These things are all going on in your head at all times. But it allows you to feel safe and hide from the reality that life is completely, more or less, out of your control. But if you at least have this little voice in your head that narrates the whole story, it gives you a sense that you somewhat are able to determine what happens. So, if peace is a state of neutral and stimulants create a wavelength like this, then stimulants therefore remove any chance of peace. If you're always in an up and down and peace is right in the middle, if you're indulging in drugs and alcohol, you're removing any possibility of this higher state of being that you have access to. So I think the analogy is drink the decaf coffee. And that means enjoy the little things in life. Sounds cringe, but the little things being just hanging out and talking with people, going for walks by yourself, exercising, creating in a way that you enjoy, making music, listening to music, reading books, hiking, hanging out with your family, and actually being present in these moments are the state of peace that you're actually looking for when you're going after drugs and alcohol, which take you through this up and down motion. So I wanted to make this video, one, to prove the point that you can make a video out of anything. I already have been wanting to get decaf coffee for the past freaking 2 weeks. And so I decided to go get it. And I thought, hey, I need to make a video today, but I have no idea what I need to make the video about or what I would want to make a video about. And I like to keep my videos spontaneous and authentic. So I'm driving. As soon as I pull into the parking lot, I thought, what if I somehow made a video about decaf coffee? And I wanted to add this spin where I showed how creative you can get with things that are already going on in your life. So this tasted amazing, by the way. Decaf coffee at night, such a vibe. That's the state of neutrality we're talking about. That is the stim-free moment that we're actually after. Hope this video was helpful.